What is up, boyos? Welcome to the Spoiler Cast with Nick and Jake. We're talking about the Age of Ultron on our Lonercast MCU rankings list. We just watched Age of Ultron, the Avengers Age of Ultron, yesterday. And this is our comprehensive discussion about what we thought of it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick,
So
before we jump into it real quick, I wanted to ask you, because you weren't here last week, we talked about Venom.
Yes.
Did you happen to do you know what happens at the end of Venom?
I know
Did it get spoiled for you?
No, but I know it links to the MCU.
Okay. So what do you think about that before we jump into it?
I'm totally into it. I don't know how it links to it because my brother was telling me, he was talking to me and he's like, "Oh, dude, it's a good movie." And I'm like, "Are you just saying that because you're an idiot?" And he's like, "No, it's a good movie."
Kind of.
And I'm like, okay. I'm sure what that means for him is it's fun. My kids liked it, and that makes sense.
It is very fun. I think you'd like it too. You should watch it.
So I dig the villain. What is his name? The actor?
Tom Hardy?
No, the villain.
Woody Harrelson?
Woody Harrelson. I like Woody Harrelson, and I think he would be a really good Carnage.
Yeah.
But then I asked my brother, I'm like, what is the end credit scene? Like, is it good? Like, does it do anything interesting? And he's like, well, what do you think it does? And I'm like, does it link the MCU to it? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, dope. So I don't know anything about how it links it to it, but it makes me excited that it does. I kind of don't like Venom as the way he is. I wish he was scarier and not so funny.
Eddie, we need to go on a mission. Eddie, yeah. Come on, Eddie. I want to eat everybody.
He's just fucking Cookie Monster, but for humans. It's kind of weird, but it makes me excited that we can potentially have Venom, Carnage. We can have the symbiotes in the MCU fighting with/against the Avengers, and that's a really cool thing.
We're definitely let's just say he's definitely going to be in that Spider-Man movie in December.
No shit.
Yeah.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be in it. That's all I'll say. You should definitely watch it. It's cool. The way they link it is cool. So yeah, we're talking about Age of Ultron though. Let's talk about this shit. Going back. We're going back in time.
Back in time. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I didn't like it that much.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's got some moments I really like. I think where this movie really strives and is really good is the interpersonal relationships where they're just kind of sitting around talking to each other. I like all that stuff, the melodrama, and Joss Whedon is really good at that shit. I mean, that guy is famous for making Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is all just interpersonal drama shit with vampires. And I think the stuff the party sequence is really cool. I even think the stuff between Bruce and Natasha, it's very horny. I think a lot of it is very good. Some of it's kind of problematic in hindsight, but it's still I like their relationship, and it's a relationship that you wouldn't expect, but makes so much sense when it's put into context of this movie.
Right. Yeah, and you said it. I think this movie is incredibly horny. I am surprised at how many fucking kids saw this movie and wow. I've only seen this movie once, and I don't remember it being this horny. It's fucking Hulk.
You're being too hard on yourself. Oh, I thought that was your job.
I thought that was your job to be hard on me, and I was like, oh my god. And then Black Widow's literally oh, I would have joined you if I knew you were showering, and it was what? Holy shit.
So very fun fact. I know we're gonna get to fun facts later, but here's a fun fact just before I forget it. Elizabeth Olsen in an interview, because in the comic books, Quicksilver, in the ultimate version of Quicksilver and Wanda, they have an incestuous relationship in the ultimate comics, and they're really creepy and gross. And Elizabeth Olsen came out and said her and the actor Aaron, whatever his name is, they were like, it's not explicit in the movie, but we did kind of play it that way, and we kind of fucked around. That's why every time you see us together, we're always like holding hands. That's why we're always like kind of like lovingly looking at each other, and like it's like, oh, that's kind of gross, but I kind of like that. They like, I like the fact that they like got that deep into the lore, that they're like, they know that, and this is kind of the creepier versions of the mutants than the Fox one, which is funny in hindsight with how Wanda is now, where she's like one of the best like relationships in the MCU is Wanda and Vision. So
right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was just a fun fact for you.
That's a weird one. So anyway,
wait, hold on. While we're on that topic, how did you feel about the twins?
They were fine. I thought they were boring. Honestly, I thought they were kind of boring. The character progression just didn't seem there. There's a moment where the Quicksilver saves Hawkeye, and I'm like, why the fuck would he save Hawkeye? Like, that makes zero sense to me. Like, it didn't seem earned.
Well, you didn't see that coming, did you?
Yeah, it didn't seem earned, and it just was like, okay, well, they're just killing this character off. I think it kind of did,
because they kind of had this like back and forth throughout the movie, and now it's like, we're working together. I was wrong, and I saved you. And
I literally killed myself for you.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of.
It's probably more for the kid that he was protecting than that guy, right. But you know, but I do think like the progression with Wanda is much better than Pietro, because at least with Wanda we got that scene with her and Clint, and he's like, you know, you've done enough for us here, but if you step out those doors and come help us, you're an Avenger. And it's like, right. that was kind of cool. I liked that scene.
That was probably my favorite part of this whole movie, is Clint actually gets like character. Yeah. Like, Hawkeye actually is a fucking fleshed out character, and he's kind of funny. Like, he's an Avenger, you know? It's just like, wow, okay. And that scene where he like jumps with Wanda through the window is like, wow, okay, yeah, this is like, that's an actually good speech. There's a point where he's talking to her, and he's like, shit's crazy right now. We're on a floating piece of land. The earth is floating. We're fighting robots, and I have a bow and arrow. It doesn't make sense. And it was just like that fourth wall breaking, that like slight fourth wall breaking. I really enjoyed that. The fact that he was like that. But yeah, this movie, it's rough. Like, it has so much potential. The visuals are really muddy and kind of shit for being 2015. Iron Man looked better than it, and it just looked like a lot of the visual effects. A lot of the visual effects were just kind of like
the intro of the movie. You know, they start in the snow, and first of all, the movie just starts, and it's like, it's so like gray and drab, and it doesn't help that they're in the snowy area, like, and like it didn't help that a lot of the effects and stuff just look like shit, man. And it doesn't end there. The whole movie looks like shit. And like Ultron, you brought it up to us while we were watching the movie. Like, Ultron's fucking mouth when he talks is
he moves like a human. His metal lips move like a human. Instead,
I hate it.
If they just like, it would be cheaper for one, and it would look better for two, if his metal mouth just stayed open and a light was like shining through his teeth on every syllable. I think that would get the point across and look less like, you know, when when you first meet him and he's like that torn up thing, and he has the blue eyes and his like mouth or whatever, and he doesn't move. He's just like standing there like menacingly as like a fucking robot zombie, and he's just saying things, but his mouth isn't moving, and it's like, this is creepy. Whereas like you get Ultron with his like little swirlies and stuff, and his mouth moves human like, and it's like, ooh, I don't like that. That looks terrible. Yeah,
totally. But I do think like I like James Spader as Ultron.
Yeah.
And I said to you yesterday, I think the biggest villain in the MCU is it's fucking Tony Stark, dude. He's fucking evil in this movie, man. He's like, until the very end where he's like, I fucked up. We should probably like make Vision.
But he's still like, that is such a gamble.
Yeah.
To be like,
yeah, for sure.
You know, it fucked up the first time, but it's not gonna fuck up this time because I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, because I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. Like yeah, he's still just sort of villainous, and like you're totally on Cap's side. And this movie sets up a lot of stuff. Just to like break off from that for a sec, like this movie sets up a lot of stuff. Like the fact that I just said that like I was rooting for Cap. Like this movie is like straight up like the catalyst for Civil War. Like it's setting up Civil War, obviously. But it also sets up like Black Panther. You know, you've got the guy from Wakanda there. He gets his arm chopped off, and I like that scene where he's like, "Oh, sorry, I lost my temper."
He's like, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry. That'll be fine. It'll heal."
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting and uncharacteristic of Ultron, though, considering he's like, "I'm going to kill the human race," but he's like, "I don't want to do it myself. Like, I won't do it. I won't literally kill somebody. Like, he doesn't kill anybody himself in this movie. Ultron."
I mean,
I don't think he kills a single person.
I mean, kind of does though.
Who?
I mean, like all those people that died on that fucking rock.
Well, but like he doesn't do it himself. Like he's just dropping this rock, right?
Yeah, but they're all him. Like, I mean,
right?
Like all those robots, they're all him, right?
Right.
So I just
kind of. I don't know. I thought. I didn't remember.
I thought of Ultron as kind of like in that new Suicide Squad movie where like the Star guy like talks through all of the people he possesses.
Right.
I feel that way about the robot. Like they're all Ultron, right?
Right, and they are, yeah, because he literally like kills one of them, and then he's like, "I'm better," because So, what was I gonna say? I feel like Vision. I don't remember Vision actually doing nothing in this movie. Vision hardly does anything in this movie.
Yeah,
he comes to life and you're like, shit, we got Superman on our side. And then he just goes up to Ultron and grabs his head and locks him out of the internet. That's pretty much all he does.
That's what I mean. Like this movie feels like a big setup movie because it sets up Vision as like he's the new like superhero guy. It sets up Wanda, who's in here now, and it kind of hints at Wanda and Vision a little bit, where like Vision kind of saves her at one point. Yeah. But then it also sets up Thor Ragnarok with Thor and Hulk, because you see Hulk flying away, and then Thor is like, I need to go because I know there's more Infinity Stones out there and something ain't right. I had this vision, so I need to go figure out what the fuck's going on. So then he leaves, and that sets up Ragnarok. So like this movie is really like a setup movie for the other movies, and there's too many threads going on, because on top of that, it sets up Winter Soldier, or it sets up Civil War, like the part with Winter Soldier, because when Sam is walking at the party and he's like, I can't help you guys because I'm working on this missing persons case, and the missing persons case is Winter Soldier. So like it's kind of setting up that. I don't know. There's like a lot fucking going on in this movie. So much so that like some of the plots get lost. Like there was a whole section where Thor kind of went into this underground place with the scientist man that like was naked at the
at Stonehenge.
At Stonehenge. And I was just at one point in the movie, I'm like, hey, what the fuck happened with that? I don't even remember what happened, but it was just Thor had a vision about
he had the Mind Stone. He had to bring the scientist to a pool, like a memory pool, I guess. Yeah. And then he had a vision. But why was the scientist guy there? Like, it doesn't...
I don't know. And the vision was Vision is good. So
the vision
shows up.
Was good.
He shows up and he's like, yeah, let Tony make Vision. Vision's good.
Yeah.
It's like
There's
a lot of weird stuff with the movie like that.
and a lot of it they don't explain. Like
Yeah.
it's
Vision
like
does feel like he comes out of nowhere. I remember when it happened in the movie, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is just like a new
a new Avenger.
You thought they were building like this evil guy, and then Vision picks up the hammer and he's like, he's worthy. It's fine. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I thought this was like an evil character. What happened?
And
here?
like a lot of the scenes that were just like explained in like a sentence. Like somebody says something before a scene, they cut an important scene out of the movie, and then you're into a different scene. Like with the Hulk, he's like, and they're meeting Ultron, right? And then Wanda's trying to like fuck with all of their heads, like that's the plan. And Hulk's just sitting outside of the Quinjet, and he's like, is this code green? And everybody's losing their mind, so he's just standing there. Then we get a jump cut to Wanda, and she's like, I'm gonna finish the job.
I want the big one.
I want the big one. And then jump cut, Iron Man is calling in the Hulkbuster because Hulk has gone into a rage somehow. Like we missed the part where Wanda actually, like, how did she get to him? I feel like that would have been tough. It would have been tough for her to do because like he's looking at them, right?
But she can do this like weird like conjuring walk. So like she's good. She can sneak up on him.
She sneaks up on him.
My thing with Wanda and like her like doing her weird like finger things on people, like my thing with that is like if you're able to sneak up on them like that, why don't you just like have like a knife or something just right in their heads? Just kill them. They're done.
Well, she's not a murderer though. She just wants them to murder everybody else.
She says like she wants nothing more than to kill Tony Stark. And she just sneaks up on him, and she's like, "I'm just gonna haunt you."
That's true.
I thought you wanted to kill Tony Stark. Like, just kill him.
He's literally the first person, and he's alone, and there's no like she literally could do that.
Kill him. I don't get it. Tony needs to die.
Point.
He's dangerous. He's a danger.
Well, he does.
Yeah. Well, not until much later, but yeah. And then like Sam Jackson shows up at one point. You know, like he's back, and I'm just like, why are you here?
And they said, this movie, it separates from the first Avengers, where that was kind of like all the movies kind of set up for the Avengers, where this movie's just kind of like, this is a setup for all the other movies. This is a setup for phase 3. Whereas Avengers was like, this is the finale of phase 1. Phase 2? Phase 1?
Phase 1.
Phase 1. This one's just like, this is the intro.
Up for phase 3.
Yeah, this is the intro to phase 3. And it's just kind of like, that's different. Like
because at this point,
like a comma and not a period.
Because at this point, this is this movie also sets up Thanos. Because, with the Infinity Stones, and we'd already gotten that with Guardians too, really set that up too. So like, they knew this wasn't the big Avengers movie. They knew that this was kind of like the middling Avengers movie to set up the bigger Avengers movie, which is the one with Thanos, who they've been setting up for like 10 years at this point. So like, yeah, this movie just kind of feels, and I understand why Joss Whedon left, because he's like, dude, why don't I get to make the Thanos movie? You know? He's like, this should be the Thanos movie. And they're like, no, you're not making the Thanos movie, at least not yet. And because this is setting up, like I said, it's setting up like Captain America, Civil War. Like, this is so many threads going on in this movie.
Yeah,
I wonder how this movie feels if you hadn't seen any of the other ones, even more so than like Infinity War. Like this one has so many like threads from the previous movies that it's like this is probably hard to follow if you've never seen any of them.
I really think this movie does an injustice to Ultron as well.
Yeah,
like because
James Spader is great.
He's such an interesting character. James Spader plays him really well. His like character that they made for him is really good. It's just like this movie was so weak, and I feel like Ultron is such an interesting character. He's like, he is the internet. Like he has learned what humans are in a matter of seconds, and what would happen to an AI if they saw humanity from the internet's perspective. It's like, that's a really cool concept to me. And they don't really dive into it a whole lot in this movie. And I feel like Ultron is a bigger threat, or can be a bigger threat than just like, let's lift this rock up and throw it into the ground, you know?
Yeah, because he's like, nothing is better than the dinosaurs when they got killed by meteors.
Right. He's like, let's just start over. Like, life sucks here. Let's start
also,
over.
Why did it need to be Sokovia? And like, why? I just don't understand.
They don't explain it.
Like, a lot of why things are happening. Like, why the twins? I don't know. And like the Strucker guy who like mutated the twins.
Like they set up Strucker in the last movie. They're like, he's like, let's research the staff more because somehow we have it, and we're gonna just research it. And then they made the twins, which is they don't explain any of that. Like they explain it later in Wanda and Black Widow, but you don't get that for another like 10 years, and it's kind of strange.
I also wanted to mention like the fight scenes in this movie suck. They're some of the worst, and they're some of the worst in the MCU. I agree. Not for a pun, no pun intended. They're kind of robotic. No, yeah, for real. Like, specifically, Black Widow has this really cool suit on where she's got like the blue outline and it's like lights up and shit, which is like, it's set up for like such a cool like action scene where it's like dark and it's set in like a dark room, but with like really cool lighting to like counterbalance her like cool blue lights. It never happens. And all of the fight scenes are like so close up, like you don't get to see full body shots of anyone. Like it's all like on their faces as they're like flipping a dude over. And it's just like such a weird direction choice. And like visually, it's just so gross. And like, it's just not good at all, man.
The action is very bad. And I feel like Thor, at the very beginning of the movie, showcases that really well. Because he lands on top of this tower and he punches a guy with one hit. The guy goes flying. He turns around slowly, punches another guy. The guy goes flying. He turns around slowly and punches the third guy, and that guy goes. And I was like, dude, this is kind of stupid. Like, he doesn't do anything interesting. He doesn't use lightning or a hammer. Yeah, he's literally just punching people.
Even the Thor movies have better action in them. Like, yeah, where we get to see Thor like in the first one where he like spins the hammer and like spits the rocks up at the dude. Like, there's just nothing like that in this movie. And that's from like one of the worst fucking Marvel movies, you know?
Yeah. So it's okay. I like you said, the best parts of this movie are the exposition parts where they're just hanging out.
Yeah. Good
like
slice
being horny, you know?
Yeah,
like that's honestly
horny,
the best.
Hanging out. The scene with War Machine where he's like telling the story and like Thor and Iron Man, like they just don't give a shit. And then he tells it to some other people and he's like, I still got it, you know?
Yeah, like, fuck those guys. They're dumb. That's a cool story.
Yeah.
I think the best action scene in this movie is the Hulkbuster thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That is a fun scene.
It's kind of funny too, because like it has interesting things where he just starts punching Hulk in the face and just go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
That whole scene feels like a different movie.
Yeah. It is really good.
It is easily the best part. And like the idea of it, like, because they mention what is it called, Samantha or Kimberly or something?
I think it's Samantha.
I don't remember, but it's like they talk about it earlier in the movie, and it's like mentioned, like Bruce is like, I helped him design it, and we're like, what the fuck is that? And then we find out it's this like thing. It's the Hulkbuster, which is just like chilling up in space. It's so cool. It's like it's like a Batman contingency plan, you know?
It's really cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
And it works. Yeah. It fucking worked.
Like, I mean, Hulk totally like genocided that whole fucking city, but
he killed a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, you definitely can't live with yourself after that. But
that's probably why he runs away, because he would have gotten fucked up
as Hulk. Yeah.
Let's move on to interesting facts. 30 interesting Avengers Age of Ultron facts. Number 30. Scarlett Johansson is pregnant throughout the entire movie.
No fucking shit.
That's why I'm like, wow, this is fucking nuts. Which is probably why she doesn't do any like cool flips or cool, like, you know, action scenes. It's also probably why they don't fan service her a whole lot.
Maybe.
Um,
That also explains why she's at the bar and she's leaning over the. That makes so much more sense now.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That is interesting.
Captain Marvel almost cameoed.
I'm glad that didn't happen.
I'm super glad that didn't happen.
That would've been too much.
Whedon wanted Spider-Man too.
Yeah, we all want Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Of course. Internet pranksters convinced fans that Spider-Man was going to be in the movie anyway. One scene took almost a year to complete. The truck attack scene in Ultron, where they have that scene where the truck fucking lifts off and like flies away with the robots.
So fucking stupid.
That was a good. I enjoyed that one. That one was so comic books and so dumb looking. Intercept the lift truck. This wasn't because the scene was particularly complex or because the effects team was being lazy. It was because there was a single animator working on that scene. Wow. They only had one guy working on the whole scene.
That's why it looks like fucking E.T. like flying through the air.
Yeah, probably. Honestly, yeah. The MCU crew threw a party to give him a bottle of champagne after all his hard effort. Great.
And then they fired him and gave themselves bonuses.
Yeah, Joss Whedon quit Avengers 3 and 4 because Ultron was so stressful.
Yeah.
Lou Ferrigno voices the Hulk.
I knew that.
Did you?
I did. I think I mentioned it in the last one. I'm like, I think Lou Ferrigno does the voice of.
Really?
Like, I think he was the voice of Hulk when he goes, "Tiny human." Like, I think that's Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah. That's cool. I didn't know that. Abomination was written out of the film. Huh. So apparently they were gonna do something with.
That's kind of a shame. I would have liked
Abomination
because like this whole time I've been wondering like what the fuck's going on with Abomination. Like for real, I'm not even joking. Like,
yeah,
that's more of a shame than Captain Marvel. Like I would have liked to see that.
Let's see. What does it say? In a 2014 interview, Roth revealed that Abomination was in consideration as a secondary villain in the second Avengers movie. They were going to do it. They did do that. What? They were going to do it. They did do that. They were thinking in the Avengers 2 or something. There was a movie we could do that at one point, but way back when, it just kind of got swept under the carpet, I guess. That would be hilarious. However, unfortunately, decided to write the character out of Ultron. And then he ends up in what is it? Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, 10 years later.
Yeah. Tom Hiddleston's only scene was cut. So apparently he recorded something.
Yeah, because he's still alive. Like, we saw him at the end of Thor 2 on the throne.
Before he cast Elizabeth Olsen, Joss Whedon wanted Saoirse Ronan for Scarlet Witch.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is either. The film was inspired by Frankenstein.
That checks out. Yeah.
Whedon only ever wanted one actor to play Ultron. Though big budget blockbusters, Age of Ultron typically go through a lengthy casting process. James Spader's star of film like Sex, Lies, and Videotape and Stargate was always Whedon's first and only choice.
He's great.
He does a great job.
You know what I don't like about this movie, Nick?
What's that?
Well, I don't know if I don't like it, but it's just sort of like kind of lame. Like at the end, they're like, "Look at the new Avengers," and it's like it's Vision and Wanda.
It's all the ones that we've showed before, except for Vision.
Well, and it's like I don't want a movie with these guys.
Yeah, kind of.
Especially at the time, I'm like, I don't want a fucking movie.
Yeah,
which we don't get. You know, like we get a different movie later.
Yeah,
so
that end scene is kind of like,
because it's like
going to introduce Spider-Man and stuff like that, and then it's like, no, you get Falcon and
it's like
War Machine,
we have
and
new
Wanda.
Avengers. Like we're done with the other guys, and it's like, no, I don't.
No, their story's not done yet. Yeah,
I don't fucking know these guys. I don't give a shit. Now I'm like, okay, we could have Vision and Wanda because they're more set up, but like, I'm like, I don't give a shit about these people.
They couldn't refer to Quicksilver as a mutant.
Yeah.
because
Fox.
because of Fox, and they had their own Quicksilver version.
Dude, yeah, and all the shit with Quicksilver was so lame in this one, especially since Days of Future Past came out like right before this movie, and it's
Yep.
like, dude, this Quicksilver sucks dick. The only scene I like with him in it is the scene where he's running, he sees the hammer, he tries to grab it, and he goes flying. I'm like, that's kind of neat.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
neat. But even the fucking scenes with Flash in that shitty Justice League movie are better than the fucking scenes with Quicksilver in this movie.
Well, to be fair, the scenes with Flash are the better scenes in the Justice League movie, where everything kind of slows down, but it makes sense that it slows down.
Yeah, it's sick because like there's that scene where he runs around and like Superman just like looks at him. Like that's so cool. It's a cool scene. And then in the Snyder cut, there's even more cool stuff with Flash. Anyway,
there's a reference to Ant-Man and the Wasp. Janet Van Dyke, the original Wasp, specifically gets a nod around 30 minutes into the film. Tony selecting an AI partner. He goes for one marked Friday.
Cool.
However, in the same shot, we can just about see a drive labeled Jocasta. In the comics, Jocasta was an AI created by Ultron, made in the likeness of Janet Van Dyke. That's cool.
Should we just rank these things? Should we do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's rank these bad boys.
Well, this next one is Stanley's Ultron cameo was his personal favorite. What did he do in this one?
He gets the alcohol from Thor. This is for no mortal.
Yeah,
goes,
that's right.
Excelsior.
Excelsior. Yeah,
that's
for
like
sure.
Stanley's catchphrase. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That makes
cameo.
sense. That would make sense that it's his favorite. Let me pull up the thing, make it big, and share my screen so we can rank this shit.
When did he say it was his favorite? Does it say?
I just exited out.
Oh, okay, never mind. Because I heard him say that one of his favorites was the Deadpool one, the one where he's like the strip club manager. That's a really good one.
I don't remember that one.
Remember, he's like, in this next dancer is Natasha or whatever.
Oh, right, yeah.
Club. That one's really good. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's at the time. At the time of the movie comes out, it was his favorite.
Yeah. So here's our rankings. At number 1, we've got Loki. At number 2, we've got Iron Man. At number 3, we've got Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. At number 4, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy. At number 5, we've got WandaVision. At number 6, we've got Captain America, the Winter Soldier. At number 7, we've got Captain America, the First Avenger. At number 8, we've got The Avengers. At number 9, we've got Black Widow. At number 10, we've got Falcon Winter Soldier. At number 11, we've got Iron Man 3. At number 12, we've got Iron Man 2. At number 13, we have The Incredible Hulk. And if you can scroll down for me, Nick. At number 14, we've got Thor, the Dark World. And at number 15, we've got Thor.
Yep.
What are you thinking? What do you think?
You know what I'm thinking?
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking right here.
Ooh, spicy.
What are you thinking?
I was almost kind of thinking maybe above Iron Man 3. But, you know...
Above Iron Man 3. I could see that, but Iron Man 3 has like some good points in it.
It does.
Iron Man 2 has got better storytelling.
I was just thinking like, you know, above the Iron Man movies just for the sheer scope of the movie, you know? Because there is like so much in this movie, and they are able to pull it off for like the amount of characters that are in this movie, and they're still able to tell a somewhat coherent story.
That is true.
I think it's worth its marks there, but I don't know. But
above
like
Iron Man 3,
I would not be opposed to putting it at number 13, though.
we could put it at number 12 in between the two Iron Mans.
Let's do it.
Just split the difference.
Meet in the middle. Yeah.
Meet in the middle. Avengers, Age of Ultron. Sweet. That's where it goes. Number 12.
I love it. That's our definitive rankings. I want to mention next week we're going to be back in the saddle with Ant-Man, which is going to close out phase 2. And then after that, we're going to start ranking all the Spider-Man movies because it's time, baby. That Spider-Man movie's coming. We're going to rank Spider-Man every week, and it should lead right into the new Spider-Man. It should. And also, ending with Ant-Man into Spider-Man, it's perfect because it has that end credit scene where he's like, and there's a spider. It's like it just keeps lining up perfectly, dude. It just keeps lining up perfectly.
We just time this shit out.
Because we did Iron Man 3 right before Shang-Chi. It's like it's just working out.
That's very true. We did that.
Working out.
Then, so whenever Falcon Winter Soldier came out, it's perfect time to start this.
Hell yeah, dude.
So that's it. That's what we got. That's our rankings. That's our thoughts on Avengers Age of Ultron. And we'll see you next week for Ant-Man. Thanks for watching.